revealed false doctrine that is taught oftentimes by the church. Like, if you just have faith, if you just believe, if you just hold on, this is going to happen. Do it afraid, do it unsure, do it with your shaky voice, do it nervous, do it with your iPhone 11, do it with your non-editing skills, do it with no makeup on.
Because you don't know if you stay silent, who it is that's tied to your voice, who never gets released because of you, because of that fear.
This is an Iwegbus production.
Period. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the aha moment of the week. And this week is loosening fear's grip with a faith shift. This whole week, I have been aggressively looking at my life and seeing what I have missed out on, or what I didn't handle properly, or what I could have leaned into a little more because of fear. I don't know about y'all, but I was raised in a real church. Okay. I was raised in a
Oh no, I'm doing African dance.
You are.
I'm tripping. That ain't that. I don't know how to do all that those steps that y'all be doing.
Yeah. So I was raised in that type of church. I was raised in I was raised in that type of church. And on every Sunday, there was testimonies specifically around money. And these testimonies were, my rent was 2 hours away from being due. I went out to the mailbox and I had a $10,000 check, and my car was breaking down, and I turned around and went to Walmart and someone just handed me $3,000, and I woke up in the morning, I had nothing in my bank account, and there were $4 billion. Like, I kept hearing it stuck with me all the way up into adulthood. And what it ended up setting up was a mindset of poverty and false doctrine. And so as I got older, I didn't have the work ethic that God was pleased of, that he wanted me to have, because I'm like, nah, you're the God of, at the very last minute, you're going to give me $1,000. You're the God of, my car broke down and I'm going to have, $2,000 in the account. You're the God of, I'm going to open my mailbox and I'm going to have a $10,000 out of nowhere approved loan. Like, you're the God of this. This is what I saw. And it wasn't, y'all, literally until last year where the Lord was revealing to me how my false Christian doctrine has set me up for false beliefs in how God moved. And it also made me lazy. And it also made me fearful. And when I started to realize what God was trying to show me through these lies, he not only showed me the lies and revealed false doctrine that is taught oftentimes by the church. Like, if you just have faith, if you just believe, if you just hold on, this is going to happen. He also led me to biblical principles. And I'm just going to read a few. Proverbs, y'all know they got them in there heavy. Okay, it's all Proverbs. Proverbs 10:4. Lazy people are soon poor. Hard workers get rich. That's Proverbs 10:4. Proverbs 10:5. He who gathers during summer and takes advantage of his opportunities is a son who acts wisely. But he who sleeps during harvest and ignores the moment of the opportunity is a son who acts shamefully. And the last one, Proverbs 12:11. A hard worker has plenty of food. Y'all know this one. But a person who chases fantasies has no sense. And I'm reading these biblical principles over and over and over again. And I'm like, my God, how contradicting. Was I being taught that God, and don't get me wrong, he is a miracle worker. We've even had some incidents where literally rent was due and God came in and we got a check from, that we wasn't expecting. Like, yes, God does work miracles. But overall, I think that having a mindset of sitting back and just because you're a good person, that blessings are just going to drop into your lap. That a good relationship is just going to drop. That opportunity is just going to drop into your lap. Even when I think about the things that I'm operating in now, I had to go get it. I had to move to Atlanta. It wasn't going to happen for me in Kansas City. I could have sat back in Kansas City and just hoped that something was going to fall to me, but I had to leap. I had to shift in my faith and say, okay, if it's not here, then it must be over there. And I wasn't realizing that I was being complacent because honestly, fear had me in a chokehold, because it's so much easier to believe in a miracle working God than to believe in yourself. It's so much easier to just hope and pray that God will drop something in your lap than to have to get on that Zoom call and do the interview and put yourself out there and pitch your business and go in that room full of competent people who are, secure in who they are. It's way easier to just sit in your home and anoint your walls and speak in tongues and hope for the miracle working Father to just drop these things in your life. And a lot of times what I'm seeing is it has set Christians up to be complacent.
Yeah.
And so it's something that as I started getting motivated for more, I'm like, why is it not happening? Like, okay, and it's like, no, go harder, step out further, get out of your fear. There are things that I have gained success, and I believe that is favor on my life, but I am in a season right now that I got to do it all. I got to step out on every I got to max out. Yeah. And so I started asking the Lord, how do we loosen this grip, first of all, of false doctrine, but of fear? Because that's really what this is. Yeah. Really, we are socially awkward. Yep. We don't have social skills. We don't have speaking skills. We don't know how to go in a room and command something and know who we are. How do we really do these things? And I feel like the thing that has been in my head is what one of my coaches say is opportunities aren't always convenient. Number one. That's good. So you got to do it afraid, unsure, and insecure. I've been telling the ladies of light, get your camera on and speak, because we have experienced the improvement of our social skills, our speaking skills, and our confidence just by turning on the camera. Like, y'all be getting on Zooms and don't turn on the camera and don't speak. Yeah, that doesn't help for where you're trying to go. Really. So do it afraid, do it unsure, do it with your shaky voice, do it nervous, do it with your iPhone 11, do it with your non-editing skills, do it with no makeup on, do it with, you don't know how you're going to articulate, just do it. Yes. Because opportunities aren't always convenient. Number two, reframe your mind. You literally have to dive into the word to get your true identity and to know what is yours. Things that I've been hearing all my life. You are royalty and high priest. You are head and not the tail. You're a lender and not a borrow. Just all of these things that I always heard. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. I'm a lender and not a borrower. Wait a minute, I operate out of overflow. Yeah. What am I doing? If I'm not in overflow, what am I? If I read the word and it says that I'm a lender and a borrower and not a borrower, that means I'm supposed to be that I have the opportunity to be that I have the open door to be that. But that doesn't mean it just happens. You are not just a lender and not a borrower just because the word says it. There are biblical principles that you have to work. And so you have to reframe your mind to say, not only do I believe this, I'm going to work it like I believe it. And lastly, I stole this from Dr. Darius. God gives you what you settle for.
I was going to say that. I wrote it down. I just got the right. I was like, yep, go ahead. It's good. Though.
And that is something that, man, Dr. Darius has shooketh this home with, is God gives you what you settle for. So if you settle for level 1 in your business, meaning you ain't filling out no grants, you ain't stepping out, you're not really doing the content that you need to do, you're not doing the videos. If you're settling with the man that you're with, that God ain't about to say, hey, daughter, take him and throw him away. He is not gonna. He gives you free will. So whatever you are settling for right now, that's what you'll have. Yep. And so again, going back to point 2, that's why you got to reframe your mind with the word. There's so many beautiful songs that he sings over us that we can have, but fear has robbed us. It has put us in a chokehold. We are operating out of false doctrine and believing that God is just going to give us stuff and drop stuff off and smack us upside our head with a bomb house. No, unfortunately, you got to work your butt off. And you got to step out heavy. When I look at Kanye West, Beyonce, Megan, anybody, I look at these secular people who go in a room and like, I am that woman. I am that man. I'm the best rapper on earth. And then he just start going, when I step up in the room and I'm getting on that, and he just start rapping and nodding his head and just going. I'm like,
Yeah.
I remember Jackie Hill said this in one of her devotions that we're reading upon waking. She said Christians should be the most confident people on earth. When you look at who we are, when you look at who God called us to be, when you look at the fact that we are royalty and high priest, that we are supposed to have dominion on this earth, we're supposed to have authority and take up space on this earth. It lets us know, first of all, we should be the most confident. Second of all, we should move like that.
Yeah.
Stop sinking to the back of the room. Stop sinking in your friend group. Stop sinking and making yourself small everywhere you go. But you can't do that if you don't start. You can't do that if you don't do it afraid. You can't do that if you don't do it unsure. And so that is my aha moment of the week.
Yes.
How to loosen the grip of fear is to have a shift in your faith and really know what God has for you and who you are.
Yeah. He'll give you whatever level that you settle for.
Yeah.
Like truly, man. You got to step out. And I can just tell you is someone, first off, I want to commend you, babe, because I've seen that shift in you. Because I'm like, she's not making this up. It was more of a, like, why are you doing all that? Like, we don't have to. It's gonna come. It's gonna come in a way. And I was on the other side. I'm like, I gotta work. And it's like I had to know. It's like, no, you're not even letting the faith. Like, you're not having enough actual faith. You're trying to overwork instead of leaving space for where God can take over and do some things. But just the first off, see the growth in that part. And if putting yourself into groups. So when she talks about when she's telling people like ladies to get into the ladies of light and do those things, it may be something out of your comfort zone. You're like, I don't know nobody. I don't want to put on my camera. I don't want to do that. She's not telling you as somebody who didn't do it. She's telling you as somebody who did it, and now she's seeing a change in her life. Yeah, you're doing it, and now you're seeing a change in her life. It wasn't her first option to be in these programs.
No.
These were things that I was jumping into, and I was like, hey, babe, I want you to go ahead and get in these things. And she was reading and just, overall just changing her mindset about actually, working along with the faith. Then, she's like, okay, let me jump in here, and continues to evolve, continues to bless, because you don't know if you stay silent who it is that's tied to your voice, who never gets released because of you, because of that fear. Let me tell you, I do this fearful. Unfortunately, sometimes every time that we jump on this to do this live every Thursday, terrified, just thinking way too much.
Got a box
and
breathe.
You may see it sometime, and I'm like, you know what, the heck with it. I'd rather do it here on this level, eventually be thousands, and I'll get better and better with repetition. I've said this before. Some of us were forced to learn some things that we don't care for. What do you mean? When you go to your job, you're forced to do that.
Right.
You don't care. Most of us, if you ask 90% of us, we do not like what we do, but we're great at what we do because we have to do it each and every day, and we're forced to for a paycheck. How about jumping on a camera? How about joining that group that you get nothing for right now, but you'll see a payoff eventually? I'm telling you, you'll see a payoff in your competency, in your clarity of communication and things of that sort. You'll see a payoff in the opportunities that you may get, or even a payoff in the people that you get, like the community, man, because you can't be your best self by yourself. So you got to get around these different people, man. But if you stay in that little bubble, that little ball, you're not reaching out to nobody, and you're never going to grow. And then you looking and just wondering, like, man, I would love to do, but I see so-and-so on Instagram doing it, all that, man. I'm telling you, somebody who's doing it, I'm doing it scared now as I'm speaking right now. Okay. I'm doing it scared right now, man. I'm telling you, it's so much reward in that, man. And you don't know who's going to be blessed. Like when we just did this big interview, it was like, we stepping into a building that we wanted to be in for a long time.
Yeah.
Into this building, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're here.
You just found out how socially terrified I am.
Yeah, I didn't believe it. Because y'all see, when she starts talking, you're like, what? And so I didn't believe it forever.
You didn't.
But until a major breakdown happened,
yeah,
I really had to say, hold on, man. If anybody she could be safe around, you got to recognize that she's really, really introverted, and she really is terrified of doing these things, but you do it so well, scared, that God just knows that you have the faith. He knows that you have the faith, and he just he operates right away when you start speaking.
That was what I was going to say, is that I don't think we realized, both you and I, and even myself. I remember when you were like, you said something, you was like, I don't know what we were talking about, but my answer was, I mean, I just do it afraid. Like that just because I'm doing it doesn't mean I'm not just as terrified as someone that isn't doing nothing at all.
Right.
If not, I might be more terrified than them. Because I'm speaking in front of a bunch of people. I'm whatever. People are depending on me. People are looking to me for whatever they are. But I realized over time, like, dang, all those shaky, sweaty, terrified, anxious, panic attacks, anxiety attacks before these things, all those things have added up to the successes and the position that God has placed us. Like, you might not ever not be afraid. Yeah. And you waiting to feel confident, or you're waiting to feel competent, or you're waiting to feel secure. What if it don't happen? You talking to people. I've been doing this. I have been on a camera
over a decade.
And each time I'm still like, Namdi knows when I get in my zone, he's like, she's nervous. She's nervous. Like, he knows how I get. I'm like in my head. I'm going through the motions, but I've just been doing it afraid, and it has added up. But if I can do it, y'all, again, I know y'all don't believe it. When I tell y'all I'm so deep of an introvert, I hardly ever want to go anywhere with people. Yeah. It's I don't think there's been a time outside of my family where I'm like, yes, I get to be around people. Yeah. Like, I love, and not saying that I think people are great. I'm just an introvert. The saying is, extroverts get their energy from people. Introverts get their energy from withdrawal. I exert a lot when I am around people. So I don't look forward to pouring that much that often. And so if I can do it as socially, whatever, you can do it. You gotta, I think I've just powered through. I think another thing is I have trained my mind and my body to like, shut up. Like, when I feel that fear, I'm like, go, you're here.
That's good.
You're here. Do it. It don't matter. It don't matter. You about to look stupid. You about to look crazy. Step, go. Like, I'm talking to myself as I'm speaking. Like, I had the program that I was with Lady whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
Like, I was shaking in the beginning. I'm like, I had to set up. I was like, so I have this. Like, I had to tell myself, like, you're gonna do this. Yeah. You're here. She calls your name. You're on camera. Yeah. People are looking. Then I'm looking at the chat. Oh my God, the Iwegbus. I'm like, my God, Jesus Lord. So do it afraid. That's it.
Oh, really? Do it afraid, man. I think you'll see the fruits of it, and it's so fulfilling.
It is.
I've said this on podcasts before. I'll say it again: is that, man, it's the greatest compensation is fulfillment. Ugh. I don't like, not $1 have I made doing what I do amounts up to the inboxes that I get for brothers that say, man, y'all podcast bless me.
Yeah.
Or, somebody that I'm helping and I'm mentoring personally as they walk to become, to get married and all those things. It's the greatest fulfillment. I could do that all day and all night, man.
Every day.
And so I just pray and I hope that y'all take something from that, man. Tap into it. May not be necessarily in front of a camera or something. It may just be your leap, maybe joining the ladies alike.
Even
getting on there with your camera, sharing some different things. We're in a program right now where, man, so many people are just getting relieved of and a lot of it's emotional baggage.
For sure.
A lot of times we're dealing with so much emotional baggage, so much self-criticism.
Yes.
And you are your biggest critic.
Yes.
You hear everything that you're saying to yourself. You're not even competing with other people. You're usually competing with the inner voice, the inner potential critic that you have that you haven't stepped out on, man. Go ahead and step out on that. And for a relationship, just for husbands or wives, kind of goes back to what we said before. Woman of God, step out. It can help your husband step out further. You know what I'm saying? Seeing her do some of this stuff and really being like, oh dang, she really was scaring a lot of that. It pushed me to say, okay, man, you can step out too. Don't let your woman up do you. Don't let her outdo you. You got to step up. You got to do this too, man.
I'm glad you finally saw me.
Yeah.
Y'all,
it took a minute because you was rapping and
Namdi's doing all this with stuff. Me for 9 years in August. He has been with me, and
it took me a minute.
4 months ago, 4 months ago, he's like, Oh,
You
you're
really-
an introvert.
Yeah, it took something big happening where
I remember I was in
this.
this group. This is the last story I'm gonna tell. I remember
Yeah.
I was in this group that I was invited by a lady that was getting to know me, but she knew me from social media. So if you know me from social media, you don't know me at all. I be feeling like when people meet me in real life, they be expecting for me to spaz like how I do on social media, right? So she meets me, she invites me to this panel with some great people or whatever. And I'm in this Zoom call and I'm just sitting there, hey, listen to everybody's story. All the extroverts are like dropping bars in this Zoom. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm just trying to know what time I'm supposed to be at this event. Like, what's the play? What's the rules? What's this? What's that? And she literally keeps calling me out, like, yeah, and TK, she's a woman of God, and she's like an agitator in the spirit or whatever. We get to this, mind you, I at the very end, because fear did rob me in this situation. At the very end, I was about to say something, but then the speaker came on. We get to this event. She literally pulls me to the corner. She's like, TK, why did you not talk on that Zoom? I said, I know you don't know me like that. I am an introvert. Like when I am when the Holy Spirit drops on me, I'm not afraid of nobody or nothing. And I'm not afraid of people, but I'm not just about to be getting on the Zoom call and be like, hey, yeah, my name is Takesha Iwegbus, and God said that you're gonna, but I be feeling like that's what people really be expecting. Yeah. Remember, we went to dinner with a couple. He was like, I never would have thought that. He's like, you're so welcoming. Like, I never would have thought you're an introvert. I'm like, yeah, I am. So I just want to tell
that story. Just so y'all know, the life that you really want is not coming to you. You're gonna have to go get it.
It's really not.
What you really want to do, the wealth and all that, like he'll give us exceedingly and abundantly.
Yes.
Above all we could ask. But again, it's whatever level that you settle for. Whatever it is, like, so like it's a lot of us, especially in our 30s and all that, like, let me tell you, that time flies so quick. Sometimes I wish I could have some of those 20s back. They're like, okay, cool. I would have did this different, man. Hey, time is ticking. The time is now. Go after it. Go get it. So,
amen.
This is an Iwegbus production.
Period.
Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you could do us a huge favor, please hit that like button and please subscribe.
Yes, and please do not forget to hit that notification bell. We need y'all to be locked in every single time we drop this fire content. Yes. Also, we need y'all to follow us on all social media platforms at the Iwegbus. And look, we will see y'all on the next video.